Well, hi there. So I've been doing a lot of spinning up bulky singles out of fiber, and I've been stabilizing them, setting them, and a lot of people have been asking me how I was doing it, getting such nice bulkies and that kind of thing. And I have a different way of doing it than most people, although I do sometimes use the spindle and I draft and park, but I'm finding that with the bulky singles, it's a lot easier to do them in strips to get them even. It's faster, and you can do all kinds of different techniques. So I'm going to show you today how I did a color run. You could just do strips of the same color too, and you can do color runs, and you can either do a bunch of strips of one color and then a bunch of strips of another color and then another color and have longer color runs, or you can have shorter color runs. This is a shorter color run. And I got this effect, and then where's the end here? I stabilized the yarn, so this is what the yarn looks like, and it doesn't curl back on itself and everything. It's slightly felted, and it looks great. It's got nice amount of twist, and you do have your nice bulky roving. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I did that. So I'll just get set up, and I will be right back. Okay, here's the two colors I used for that. So I have this purple merino, and it has a bit of silk in it, and you can kind of see the silk shining here and there. And then I've got this one, which is also merino and silk, and it's done with color runs going this way. Okay, now to get the strips, first, I'm going to tear this right down the middle just to make it smaller. And then you do the same thing again, going down the middle. And with some of these, they're a little bit hairy, so you might want to wear clothes that are easy to brush the fiber off of. But anyways, then I'm going to decide, how big I want to have the bulky, and I want it to match the yarn that I already have. So I'm going to just do a small strip off the side, like that. And I'm doing this one quite thin because I want my bulky to be a certain size. I'm already using it. Now this comes off nice and even, and you don't have to do any drafting at all unless you've made it too thick or you've torn it unevenly when you tore the piece off. So there's a pink piece, and I'll do the same thing now with this purple. And I'll do him down the middle again. He's not as easy. Those ones that have the colors going down the side like that are easier to tear. So I'm going to keep doing him down the middle. And then get my piece here and slowly bring it down. And it's nice and even. Now if it wasn't even, let's say it's a little thicker. Well, it's not really thicker anywhere, but you can just, I won't do it, but you can just sort of draft a little bit anywhere that you think it might be too thick, but I'm not drafting them at all. I'm just doing them just like that. And so I'm going to get my spindle and show you how they spin up. Okay, got it. So you don't have to use a spindle either. You can use a spinning wheel or any method you want to spin. It's just I use a spindle. So I'm going to have these little strips. And I'm just going to attach it. I'm just going to spin it, get that attached. Whoop. Okay, now I'm just going to spin it. And it broke. I guess I should open this up a little bit. Usually it catches, but of course if you're going to do a video, it's not going to catch. Like a Murphy's Law. Okay, there we go. Caught it. So I'm just going to spin this up. And I'm just going to wind this yarn on a bit. Okay, and then spin it. And there we go. I got a fairly thin bulky here. but that's what I wanted for my project. And then I'm going to add on, I'm going to wind this on, I'm going to add on the pink. So I'm going to have these short color runs. And because I'm doing my strips all the same size, my color runs are all the same length. But you can vary that as well. Okay, now I'm going to attach my pink yarn to it. Now what I do when I attach, and probably most people aren't going to do it this way, but I like them to be really secure, especially because I'm going to have so many short pieces. So I felt the joins. So I just wet them and I felt them. And I felt the joins on just about anything. So you just wet them and then you just rub them. And there you go. And I have a perfect little join. You can't even tell, and it dries very quickly because this is wool, so I just spin it and let it dry in the ball, which it does. And then I'm into the pink here. But depending on your size of strip, you can have any width of a bulky that you want. Okay, so there's my bulky, and as you see, it's going to have a little bit of spin. That's about the right amount, because after I set it, it will be perfect, like I told you there. And I'm just going to take out off the yarn and look at it here. Just wind it off. See, it's a nice even yarn. Of course, I wouldn't do this if I was going to keep spinning tonight the whole way. But there you go. You got a nice even yarn. And it spins on itself, but it won't after I set it. It'll be just like that one that you saw that was rolled up in the ball. And you get that effect. And before, this looked like such a warm pinky orange, but against the purple, it suddenly turned into what looks like a different color. I really like these two together. So I'm just going to put you on pause for a minute, and I'm going to get the work that I'm working on, and I'm actually working on a piece, so you can see what it looks like knit. Okay, I'm back. I'm a loom knitter. So I loom, so this is just what I've been doing with that yarn, with it being pink and purple. So yeah, this is how it knits up. Knits up quite nicely. Very stable, easy to work with. So I did want to show you that. Has a nice gloss to it and everything. And in some places, I did a longer color run too. So in the brim, I did a shorter color run. And then I did some longer color runs, and they sort of pooled here and there. So I had some fun doing that. But you can do that any way you want. I also have a project where I have 4 colors. So it just is quite fun to do that. Now, the thing I should tell you about too is how I stabilized this to get it to be so it's like this, and it doesn't curl back on itself and stuff. And it's a really nice and stable. So what I do is I take the yarn in, and I usually do it in small batches because I have it on a spindle. But if you have a nitty naughty and you have great big batch that you take in at one time, you can do it in a bigger container. But I just make fairly warm water towards the hot, just not too hot that it's going to burn my fingers. And I put the yarn in there, and I make sure that I really saturate it. Now, some people leave it in there for a long time. I find you don't need that. You just have to have the hot water penetrate all the yarn. So I just actually squeeze it gently, push it down gently until I know that the yarn is all hot. Then I squeeze it out, and then I put really cold water in my container, and I put it in the cold water and make sure it sits in there. Now what that does is the hot water, of course, opens it up and everything, but the cold water closes it and has it felt slightly. So it has a slightly felted look, just like the roving yarns you'd buy in the store. So it's nice and set and stable and really easy to work with. And the real benefit to this is if you were mixing colors and you were going to use a blending board, it would take you a lot longer to do it when you can just do it in the strips. And sure, with your park and spin, you can just keep going, but I find it pretty fast to just do the strips and attach them. And I always do my little bit extra felting there because I'm going to felt the whole piece anyway. And you can't even see the felts, and I find it holds it better. It's never going to break on you. So, and that's how I attach it too. If I'm knitting and I'm putting on another piece and I'm using natural fabrics, it's just easy to felt them together and not have any ends. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and it gave you another thing to do if you're like me and you're a person that likes bulky singles, and you find that when you want to buy the yarn, it's just so expensive to get nice yarns that are already a bulky roving. It just seems to cost a lot. And so it's really nice when you can just do your own for a fraction of the price and do exactly what you want, the colors you want. And I just find it a lot of fun. So, okay, I hope you enjoyed the video, and happy spinning.